and welcome back to my channel, and happy Wednesday. Yeah, crazy. The weeks just keep going and going and going. I have tons of fun stuff to talk about today, so let's start with my current reads. So currently with my book club with my friend, I think I mentioned this last week, but I actually started it, is Wicked. And no, not the Wicked that everyone is talking about, but Wicked, Witch and Curse. I'm so confused. Actually, I was telling my friend, I think it's actually 2 books in one. So currently I'm on Witch. It is by Nancy Holder and Debbie. I'm going to mess that up and I don't want to. It is about a girl named Holly, and her parents get in a terrible accident and she has to go live with her cousins, Amanda and Nicole, and it's witchy, it's black magic, it's magic. I'm super excited. I'm on page 24. Oh, also look at this cute little bookmark. I'm obsessed. Anyways, it's perfect for October, so heck yeah. I'm also still reading Thorn of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. However, I keep forgetting to get it from my mother-in-law's house, so eventually I will be reading it. And it's funny because I go over to my mother-in-law's house every single Sunday, and every single Sunday I've forgotten to get it. So let's see. And then I'm currently listening to After You're Gone by Margaret Hunt. It is an abridged novel. It's only 2 hours and it's really cool. It's basically like watching a show, but you're listening to it. So kind of like the radio, I guess. Anyways, I barely started it today. I like it. I like it so far. I did, however, DNF The Unmaking of June. I put The Unmaking of June and I can't remember what the ending is. The Unmaking of June Fairway or something. However, I might pick that one back up. I was also listening to that one, but I think I'll pick Okay, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. So last week we talked about 2020's books. So this week I wanted to talk about 2021's books. And then I have a huge library haul that I would like to go over with you. So I'm definitely going to have to post this video in 2 parts because my phone will not let me download anything that is longer than 15 minutes. So most likely this will go in 2 parts, but let's just see what happens. So in 2021, I read 15 books total, compared to 2020 where I read 27. So I picked, like the other video, or like last week, I picked my top 10. So here we go. The first one, if somebody said that I could rip off a fingernail to reread this book for the first time, I would. And that is I Killed Zoe Spanos. That book, I think one of my friends is borrowing it right now. That book is gold. That book is golden. I love that book. I love everything about that book. I want them to turn that book into a Netflix special. It's about this girl. Honestly, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't even fully remember what it's about, so maybe I wouldn't even need to give up a fingernail. I do know it's about this girl that moves into this summer house. And I don't want to say anything else because I'm scared that I'm going to give it away. Just read it. Read it. Okay, number 2, The Lake by Natasha Preston. Natasha Preston, I have talked about her a million times because she is one of my all-time favorite authors. I love her. The Lake specifically was I think it was one of the first books I read by her. Let's see. So this one was about a girl, don't ask me their names, I don't know, that goes to a summer camp, and she had gone to this same summer camp as a kid, and so now she's back as a camp counselor. And it is so, so good. I remember reading it. I'm pretty sure it was during the summer, and it has very summer, obviously it's about summer, but I mean, it has like very campy horror summer vibes. I love that book so much. I highly, highly recommend that. The next book I want to talk about, number 3, We Were Liars. This book, you guys, if you've heard me talk about books, I'm sure you've heard me talk about We Were Liars. I loved that book. I bawled reading that book. I sobbed. This is one of those books that I felt it in my soul for days afterwards. I cannot rave about this book enough. However, I tried to read the first one, the prequel. Couldn't get into it. Not at all. I've never finished it. And I was pumped to get that book. Never finished it. So, yeah. But We Were Liars was such a good book. And that is also another one of those books. If they don't turn that into a Netflix special, they're missing out. Okay, number 4, The Fourth Agreement. That's kind of funny. I did not do that on purpose. Anyways, The Fourth Agreement is about, it's a self-help book, and I hate self-help books. I am not a self-help book girly. I have been in the past. I read Girl Wash Your Face. I read some other book by that girl, by Girl Wash Your Face. That's it. I read for entertainment. I do not read to gain knowledge. But I had heard so many people talk about this book that I was like, okay, I have to give it a try. And I downloaded this book to listen to on my way to Oregon and Washington. And this book completely changed my life. It changed the way I think about things. It changed the way I talk about things. It has fundamentally changed me as a person. And during 2021, I was going through a very rough faith crisis, I would call it. I don't know what else to call it. I was deconstructing the faith that I believed in and didn't really know how. And I have been through a lot of childhood trauma, and I was dealing with a lot of that. I was dealing with a lot of PTSD, and this book just completely changed my life. Like, it really did. I could not recommend this book enough. If you have not read it, please read it. I don't really know how to describe it other than it's basically talks about like these. The part that stuck out to me the most is talking about these things that we hear when we're children and how we internalize them and take them as our truth, and what happens when we no longer believe that truth, and what happens in our minds, what happens to us. Anyways, please read this book, especially if you're going through some sort of faith crisis or faith transition or anything like that. I, again, can't recommend this book enough. Number 5, I read Camp. This book was so good. This book I want to say that year it was picked for June for like their book of the month, specifically because it was Pride Month. Or maybe it had been picked along with other books. I can't quite remember. But it is about this guy, and he goes to this LGBTQIA plus camp, and it's specifically for the LGBTQ community to like come together. Basically, it is, I don't want to say much more because I don't want to give anything away. It was so cute and perfect summertime read. You'll notice a lot. I read a lot about summer camps. I think I went to my church's girls camp every year, but other than that, I didn't really go to camp. Like, I went to a couple camps. But I don't know. I just like love reading about camping. I love camping specifically, but specifically I read a lot about summer camps. I don't know why. It just happens. Anyways, it was so cute. I loved it. And honestly, I probably still have it somewhere. I would reread it. Probably not now because it's like spooky season, but if you're wanting a summer book or fast forward to next summer, I would reread it again. It was so cute. Okay, number 6, The Cellar, which was also by Natasha Preston. The same author as book number 2, The Lake. And actually, I realized I read The Cellar before I read The Lake. And that's what made me buy The Lake, is I had read The Cellar, I think. It might have been flip-flopped. I might have bought The Lake and then bought The Cellar. I don't know. Anyways, this book was so good. It was so creepy, though. Like, it's about this girl that gets kidnapped, and she's locked in this basically cellar, but it's like more of an underground house with these other girls, and they're the wives to the guy that kidnapped them. I really enjoyed it, reading it. It was, I don't know, it was a weird, wild ride, and there were parts of it that were very hard to read, but I enjoyed it. I don't know, Natasha Preston just creates worlds so well and does it. She's a very, very good author, and her stories, I just love her stories. And for a while, I had read so many of her books, I was like, okay, there are a couple of her books I'm like, this was not it. Because she does tend to have a pattern of how her books go. However, I don't know, she always, you think that it's gonna go one way and it goes this way, but really it never goes the way you think it's gonna go. You're like, okay, it's gonna go this way, and then you're like, oh, maybe this way, and then really she's clear over here. I don't know if that made any sense, but she's an amazing author. Love her to death. Okay, book number 7, Red is for Remembrance. So if you watched my last video, this was actually, I think, the 2nd or 3rd book to Blue is for Nightmares. Love this book. Can't tell you what it's about. I don't remember. I wrote it on this list because I know I loved that book. Don't remember what it's about. I do know that you should read it, though. It's a good series.